The forces of capitalism are strong in Bristol tonight. The problem that we have is that three parties line up in favour of... What?
What are you doing?
I'm videoing myself. The forces of capitalism are strong in Bristol tonight. We have three major parties in this country who line up in favour of big business, who expect big business to be their guide on everything that they decide and implement in the city. We're left with nothing as people who work and own their own businesses and exist because they want a livelihood and something to exist on. They aren't listened to and they aren't given a fair slice of the pie. The large businesses control so much of what we do in the society. We're not able to control those businesses. Every time we try to control those businesses using governmental structures or any of the business levy, anything that we do to try and take a little bit of the money away from those large businesses fails, because the vested interests are too much and we're not able to take that wealth that they own. I mean, it comes down to what you think money is. Do you think money is something to be shared and to be used for everyone to prosper, or do you think it's something that should be just used for those who have a share in a large company, who've invested money in something? We think that their business has a divine right to rule. And the problem is that all of these large businesses, they don't have any plans to break down and become smaller. If there was sort of a law or such in the country where large companies had to downsize when they got to a certain size, there would be no problems. You might say this is Marxism or some kind of over-regulation, but what I think is it makes economic sense. It makes economic sense for people who haven't got enough money to be able to start their own business, and the only way you can do that is if you get the start-up funds from these larger businesses. This is the way that the retail levy would work, is that people who haven't got that much money to start a business would get seed funding, and they would be able to actually contribute in that way with something creative and different, because at the end of the day, New Look and Zara and Topman and Primark and all these major retailers that there are in Bristol, they're not from Bristol. They don't really care about Bristol. They're just here because they want to make a bit of a profit here. I mean, you might say, oh, they've invested in Bristol, but at the end of the day, they're not really investing. All they're doing is saying, this is another place where we can make money for our shareholders. That's what large companies exist for. Smaller companies don't exist for that. What they exist for is to have a stake in society, have something that they can call their little project and their attempt to make life better for themselves. And that's really the stake that we should be encouraging in Bristol, and we should be giving people the chance to have that stake. Now, there's so many different ways that we can do that, and the debate is stifled by this back and forth between anti-supermarket people, so-called, and people who say, oh, supermarkets are great because they give people cheap food and they give people jobs. When in actual fact, small and medium enterprises provide more jobs per pound of turnover than large companies do, and they always have. It would make so much more sense if Sainsbury's does move away from White Ladies Road, as made in a debate today, that a small business could move in there, or a number of small businesses could move in there and actually be used for people in Bristol who perhaps deserve a bit back from the supermarkets, who, let's not forget, take 95p out of every, no, it's not supermarkets, all large retailers take 95p out of every pound spent in Bristol. So it's 5p left for Bristolians. It doesn't make any sense. Something has to change. We need more people for this cause. There need to be more people who argue for this. Otherwise, I can't make this case on my own. I'm the only person making this case in that place, and I need more people to support that idea and that principle, and that's why I'm a Green. That's why I think it's important that Greens take a stand on this issue, because we understand the way that supply chains work. We understand the way that localising economies makes things more sustainable. It makes a better future for all of us. It's not just about the short-term aims, profit and jobs and growth. These are all short-term aims. They're all things that might be good in themselves, but they won't provide for us in the future, in the low carbon future that we need. And we're desperately trying to rail against this way of doing things. And Greens have to start to see we can't We can't do it on our own. We need more and more citizen engagement. We need more and more people who are willing to come forward and stand for us and win seats on the council and get these views heard in larger numbers, because me on my own, I can't do it. There has to be more people. There has to be more people who are able to make these arguments. It just exhausts me to be the only one making these arguments. We need more people who are willing to stand up and count themselves as part of the movement. And that involves standing for office. That's the point of politics, is that you involve yourself in the process and you change it from the inside. If you can't do that, I want your support and I want you to help us, but I need you to step up. I need more people to step up and get involved.